Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Breach and the first episode of our Trashtalk. My name is Hagen, aka Geist, and today we are talking about the new guild models from the Ashes of Malifaux Book. And here today with me are Trikk and Legislat. So, guys, people probably know you, but maybe you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit and how you got to play Malifaux, and then we can start and giving our salt to the new guild models. Trikk, why don't you start us off there?
Okay, so my name is Rafał. I'm from Poland. I'm known as Trikk. I've been playing board and tabletop games for like 20 years now. And I started playing Malifaux during, I think, between the second and third book of the second edition. So I think it was like 2016. And I've basically played mostly guild, although I currently have like 4 factions. I'm part of the MWS, so the Malifaux World Series committee, and I think that's it.
Yeah, awesome. And for you, Legislat, how is it looking at your end?
Very good.
Yeah.
So I started tabletops from Blood Bowl, actually in online league, and I was introduced by my colleagues at work, and I had a lot of fun with the game, like for 5 or so years. But then I got tired, and they brought a new game, and I'm a very narrow-minded guy. I can't devote my whole time to multiple hobbies, so I just chose one, and that's Malifaux. And I think it was the middle of the second edition I joined this, and I played almost exclusively as guild. Though my first crew was actually a brewmaster, but I decided then that I should focus on a single faction.
Oh, okay. Wise decision, it seems like. So you got hooked up at work on the drug. That seems to be smart.
Yeah, nobody plays anymore, but
yeah,
me.
but you do. yeah, that's how it is. The dedicated people stay. Cool. So the new book has arrived, and yeah, we're going to take a look at the models and see if they save the guild out of its current predicament of being like the saltiest faction in our Malifaux.
No, spoiler alert, no.
No? Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna start off on the new models from the Cavalier and family keyword, which are Domingo Montoya and Avel Ortega. So, Trikk, what's your take on those?
I think they don't look that bad on paper because they are decently tanky for family models, but that only means how untanky family models are. But I ultimately think they do not bring much to the both of those keywords, which I think require either tanky like guardian models or support models. And we got 2 guys that are basically range shooting guys. So that's, I think, my take on it.
Okay. So anything for you standing out that separates them from the other models that are already in those keywords? Like, do they bring anything that's not there yet?
I think Avel is a mini Sonya because he has double blasts on weak damage with a 10-inch range and stat 6. And I think the big thing that they have is that they both have music in the air. So that's the Hamelin 2 trigger that basically immediately push to the target 2 inches in any direction, which helps you get models out of cover or like set up for blasts. It's not built in on both of them, but I think that's something that can like help you. But apart from that, I don't know if they are. I think that's the only like selling point for me.
Okay. Legislat, how about you?
Yeah, basically music in there is the single best thing on the models, because they don't really bring any valuable support to the keyword. Of course, they have this free push at the start of their activation, and they are very tied together and kind of stronger to get together, but that's very boring.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I mean, it's nice that they're together or tied together. They're kind of strong or more or less tanky, but there are also 14 soul stones in a packet. So this is already paying for your Pale Rider in Guild, and there's always the question, would you take those two over a Pale Rider and 3 Soulstones, or a Pale Rider and an upgrade? And I couldn't see it directly. Also, the Shockwave action, the Murakanada is kind of lackluster, being 6 inches, damage 2 with the trigger to do it again. I mean, if your enemy is out of cards, maybe. Maybe you can stack it in a Cavalier crew with Herald Tull 1.
Actually, that's my point, because if the opponent has no cards, you'll be more likely to be without cards with those two models. It's like they provide you with all sorts of preparation and ways to discard cards, and they don't provide any actually draw or resource generation. They are just ways to spend your resources. And we have loads of those in Guild.
Yeah, that is
I
true.
mean, with Toll too, you can basically like cycle the heat of battle.
Yeah. Okay.
And the big selling point is that they are very hard to engage because they have both the push and bravado. I think both of them have bravado. Yeah, both of them have bravado. So they can focus out of combat. They can push at the start of activation out of combat. So at least that's what I agree, that they basically are more of resource sinks than resource generators.
Yeah, the damage.
Let's just look at the lots of conditions on the card. So discard the card within the ski marker and move the model within 6. And if it is Domingo or Havel, and then Maracanada, it's once per turn, and the friendly Domingo Montoya within, blah blah blah, and it's like a lot of conditions.
Okay.
Like
so,
half of the card.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they're obviously meant to be played as a pair. But okay, so your guys' verdict on those is, yeah, okay, but we actually wanted something else for both keywords.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Guild in general, it's for Guild in general.
Guild in
We
general.
wanted
Okay.
entirely different models, I think.
I mean,
That's the
if
main-
you put them in Witch Hunters, I would probably say they're one of the best Witch Hunter models. But
Yeah, that's fine. Witch Hunters suck.
Yeah, but we might want some keyword reworks here. I think we 3 talked about that at least for 520 hours. That should probably be a thing. I'm a bit surprised because the release before Ashes of Malifaux gave us overpowered and overtuned models in abundance, and now it's kind of more like, yeah, they're a bit more in check, but they're somehow also off the mark. Like these two, I don't know. What do you say to the design of those two? Like the revolver, the gunslinger musicians kind of duo? Because I think it's a bit cheesy. Yeah.
I think I kind of like the idea of them being like the gunslingers / explosions / musicians. I don't really mind that. I think that's cool.
Okay, cool.
I just think that
Evil is basically Siu. Like basically the same miniature.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we talk later about what models we actually wanted to have for Guild. As we go into the next keyword. So right now we are looking at the Clipper, the new model for Augmented and Frontier. So any of you two have formed any opinions on that model?
Lots of opinions. Yeah. Well, that's a decent model, I think. It does have some glaring weaknesses, and like him being unable to get out of the engagement, right? But he has very nice utility with Fly With Me, and he can enable flank the masters that desperately need it, like the first Hoffman or Buzz, to be in the place he wants to be without walking and stuff. And he has a very nice gun.
Oh, indeed.
That's for sure. And actually, the most important thing that's it is not a paper model in Buzz. That's very good. Because it is a notorious crew that folds like paper.
Yeah,
That's pretty nice.
That is very fair. So that is the first praise that we hear of any new model.
But that's not all. He's kind of lackluster
Yeah,
in other departments.
Yeah, he's a bit like decent, but he's not sparkling. That's for sure. Trikk, how are you looking at this model?
I think like it's another model that like has when you start to see it, you think, hey, a flying model with armor 2, movement 6, and fly with me. That's exactly what guild needed. But then it turns out like for 9 stones, if you look at the competition in other factions, you start to see what's going on. You basically need a trigger to get out of engagement because you have heave and like the wind, but you don't have transfer power. You can't go above damage 5 without a red joker. So a lot of the 6 stone models won't be one-shotted, even with focus, unless you red joker. So those are some of the things that I think. And willpower 4 is also very problematic, especially when your gun is ignoring armor. I know how it's gonna end. I'm gonna get obeyed into shooting my own guys and keep them staggered.
as you should be.
I finally figured out why I don't like it that much. This model, it is basically a flying hunter.
Yes, it's a flying hunter.
That's true. They just clapped wings on it. I mean, I think I like the design quite a bit, to be fair, and I like the front of the card. The front of the card looks like it should do, apart from willpower 4. That's always an issue to me, because anything that's 4 or lower is basically not a defensive stat anymore. It's just an invitation to get one's ass kicked in a game. Yeah, needing the trigger to get out of engagement, that would also mean that you're not engaged by a 2-inch engagement model, because you only have a 1-inch engagement range on this thing, so it's probably really easy to shut it down. What do you guys think of the second bonus action, the supply drop? Drop a scrap marker within 8 inches.
It's fine. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Because actually, this is kind of nice utility, because you can actually prop for some schemes with that as well.
Yeah, okay, fair. Like deathbeds or stuff like that? Okay.
Research mission and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of feel that for 2 keywords that have a lot of TNs and not much card draw, I think 5 is, like, looking at what other models can do for a 5, that's a bit steep for me, for 9 stone.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, I guess.
I mean,
yes.
Looking at models
but
like...
that's a power token as well.
Yeah, true. But looking at models like Parson, this should basically have no TN. We need to be honest there. This should be like need a 2.
3.
No, man. A 3 is a high target number nowadays for an action that just drops a scrap marker somewhere, because we are not having pit traps of scrap markers or something like that. No, the guild is not as happy there. Cool. So you guys say, yeah, that's okay. How does this fit in any of the keywords list building? Because 9 soul stones means you need to scalpel out a big model or 2 smaller models, or play with less stones than you originally had. So what would a Bass list look like when you incorporate the Clipper?
I think Bass has like a lot of like I think I for example play Bass a lot differently than Legislat does. Yep. I think if I would play with Clipper, I would probably take one of the big guys. So either the henchman, so Reinhardt, or the worm, depending on the board. Like if I can.
Both. I think both.
I would take one probably, and probably add some minions like Ashbringers or Pathfinders, and see where that takes me. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's just in the face list.
Yes.
Yeah, fair.
I'm kind of worried that like you said that you can use a power token, but I feel this model is so starved for power tokens already, because I think a lot of its power comes from the triggers. Because 235 is like it's a hunter damage track, and you have heave, which is okay, but you can have Howard for heave, which does it with a 3/4/5, no triggers, and you have like the wind, which also Howard has. So it's basically the melee attack is Howard's attack, just with
Less
1
damage
inch
and less
engagement,
reach, yeah.
worse in every way. The pneumatic spike feels good. It's 2/3/4 ignoring armor and can give staggered. I think that the vantage point to drop a ski marker like in the area is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically a model for deathbats. Like supply drop, then
Yeah, supply
vantage
drop,
point.
vantage point, and then kill it. Yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah, but you're 2/3/4.
But you kind of have mobile toolkit and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the scheme only requires you to kill a model within 2 inches of both those markers. It doesn't need to be something that has 10 health and can use soul stones. I think the vantage point trigger that you can get with power tokens is probably one of the selling points. Problematic is that the only way to actually get power tokens is to charge, which you cannot shoot off on this model, or to use the spool up trigger, which is also the same as vantage point. So I think that in like 80% of the time you use vantage point, and this GG at least.
Well, in Hoffman, it's a lot less of an issue because you can get it in other ways.
You can you can also use the supply drop, and then you have power converter. So if you walk, charge, and then supply drop, then next turn you'll get a second power token. So when you charge, you'll get 3. So
yeah, that's 4.
With for Hoffman 4, for
Bass is 3.
Bass 3, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm always thinking in the lines of Fly With Me because I basically see it as a Rykard or Bus Taxi, depending on what I'm
have
playing against.
a bit of a fun in Lady Justice, I think.
Yeah, I think
33.
I actually think that you will. I expect to see Clipper more out of keyword than in the keywords.
Okay.
It's very expensive. It competes with a Pale Rider, and that's not really a competition you can win easily.
Okay, but I mean, people are gonna try it out anyway. What keywords are you aiming at if you take this model out of keyword?
I think I'll go with Elite Justice 1 or Lucius 2, probably.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay, so you can
and maybe Dash 1. Because Executioners with a taxi is very nice.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but they usually have taxis anyway.
The Executioner taxi.
But that's a better taxi.
Okay, yeah, it's an air taxi. It's an upgrade. Okay, cool. So what should the model have had, in your opinion, for either of these keywords? Because my first idea is card draw. Because both of those keywords have like zilch card draw, and that's very hurtful in the current meta. What do you think?
Yeah, I think exactly the same, because that's a very glaring hole in guild lineup, because you have a little bit of not built-in triggers and a lot of quite hard TNs and no card draw. Thanks.
I actually think that if he would have either a way to get out of engagement for basically free, as in a bonus action or something like that, but not wasting an action, needing a trigger and needing to hit, or if he could one shot like a 6,000, if he had a severe of 6, I think I would like it a lot more.
Yeah,
like an attack 2/4/6, right?
2/4/6 or even 2/4/5. I think my experiences with Lucius is that the 3 moderate is like very underwhelming for 8 or 9 stones.
Yeah, or 2/3/6. I think it's also
kind of 2/3/6, 2/4/6, 2/4/5. All of them would be better than 2/3/5.
Yeah,
which is basically you either spike on severe or basically don't do much.
Yeah, seems a bit undertuned for the 9 soul stones on the damage. I will play it
or
anyway
at least
in buses.
Another trigger.
Yeah. Or things. Cool.
Yeah, or like give it built-in reposition somewhere, like on the supply drop. I think if he had maybe they would want to have the same thing as Rough Riders, but I think
That's quite a good point.
Yeah, I think it could also be built in without this being overly. I mean, it still needs a 5. And I know from
built-in reposition would have been awesome.
Yeah, I know from playing Bust that that 5s are sometimes a problem in that keyword, because you need like 8 of those per turn and you're not gonna flip them all, and you don't have draw. And I always get resource starved when playing that. No matter how I try, no matter how hard I try to preserve and be smart about this, I always get resource starved and then die turn 4 to something stupid.
I think the only way to I think the way that Bass works with no resources, I think you just have to go into the volume of shots instead of the quality of shots. So that's why I think I had the best success when I had like 2 Ashbringers, 2 Pathfinders, 2 Rough Riders, which basically meant I do like 3, 4, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shots a turn, and some of them are bound to hit, and some of them are bound to hit with triggers.
Okay. Well, that list falls over in a stiff breeze, so that's nothing that's nothing I enjoy playing. That's what I say.
It honestly sucks to lose with this list. It's amazing to win, but
yeah, it's a gamble. I mean, it's a gamble like every other Bass list is as well, right? Okay. So we put the Clipper at you might want to have that, but don't get too overexcited. Cool, and now we are going to the Nightcrawler Network and his camera bots. The savior of the guild. Trikk, what you say?
Okay, so I think this is at least for GG4. I don't know how it's gonna fare when the G4 changes. I think for GG4 it's probably the best guild model that's in the book.
Yeah.
It's move 6 with expert getaway, so it can move through models, walls, forests, swamps, which is like a big deal in guild. It can interact from range. So it can vote from the camera bots. It can cloak and dagger, interact with the cloak and dagger markers from via the bots. It can steal the intel tokens from enemies via the bots, and it can deliver the message via the bots, which is a lot. It's surprisingly the auras working from the bots means that whenever someone interacts near the bot, he will get a focus, and if he draws range from the bot, he gets a mask. So it's 1, 3, 4 plus 1 damage base with focus. That's kinda also BT. So I think that's the best model for guild this release.
Okay.
Yeah, fun fact. The summoning of the camera bot, the network, needs a 6. And dropping of a scrap marker, it's a 5.
Yeah. I mean,
and summoning has a built-in trigger.
I mean, you rather have a scrap marker than a
and you, by the way,
right?
and you have a reposition in it.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts. So what you're basically saying, Legislat, is that the tuning of those two models doesn't really align, like the Nightcrawler Network. Yeah, fair. Anything for you that stands out on that card that make you excited about this new model?
The main thing I see on this card, it's that everything written on the card is useful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very, very good. So it's basically a very good model for a guild. It enables a wide variety of plays that you haven't had the option to do before.
Okay.
So, yeah. So this will be in a lot of lists.
I also think that the mechanic where the camera bots get the extended reach, I think that's also very not. Maybe we don't understand it yet, but I think that can turn into a very good defensive tech because you suddenly block charge ranges. And I think the guild's biggest issue is the mitigation of enemy AP. Basically, with one squeal, no butterfly jumps, and until now, I think no extended reaches, because I don't think there's an extended reach model, which means basically there was no punishment and basically the enemy was never punished for making an attack. And because we had defensive triggers that didn't work, but that's a different topic. And you also had to tank everything, which basically went up to the cards. I will get hit 3 times and I have to force them to miss, or I will get hit 3 times. And suddenly the camera bots getting placed in specific locations means you're getting hit twice, which is, I think, a big deal because sometimes there's a difference between a model living and model dying, and that's huge.
Not only that, but camera bots already summoned can then jump around and provide the protection, and that's very nice. And they have a decent defense as well, so they're pretty nice at this point.
Yeah, unless
And
your
the flash photography is another way to defend these models.
Oh yeah, unless your opponent is attacking move, of course, in which case they're kind of sad because they're movement 0.
They can be movement 1 during their activation with the sergeant.
Great. That's gonna count for something, I guess.
But I think people will be very surprised when a camera bot near Dashel 2 spends a stone to survive.
Yeah, I think they will be but it's clutch. I mean, I've played this model only twice so far. Once in Cloak and Dagger and once in Plant Explosives. And while it was absolutely bonkers in Cloak and Dagger, like it solo kept the flank with one field reporter against like 4 models because they couldn't do anything, they couldn't interact, and they couldn't hurt her because they all had distracted stacked. The extended reach thing is really good when you do Plant Explosives because unless you got guns, you can't kill the camera bots and pick up one of the markers because you can't charge, kill it, and then pick it up. You gotta walk up, kill it, and then you don't have any AP left to pick up the explosives marker. So
they also have stealth.
Yeah, and they also have stealth, so you need to be within 6 inch for the gun anyway. So this model has a lot of utility for 3 of the 4 main strats, is basically my point. And extended reach together with stealth is very strong. Looking at the other actions on the back of the card, I mean, network cable, Trikk talked about that. The damage check is surprisingly good. You can draw a line of sight from the camera bots. Actually, you want to draw a line of sight from the camera bots, I should say. And yeah, walk the line. I know you guys have an idea about how to use this. I'm not super sure of what this action is for. Trikk, what's your take on walk the line on this?
Basically, I think the best usage is, unless you are below half to draw a card, is you can draw a range to a camera bot to get out of engagement. So if you don't have a marker within 6 inches of you, I think you can draw the line of the loss and the range from a camera bot, and that camera bot is within 6 inches of a marker you can move.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get yourself out of engagement, and you can walk through a wall because you have expert getaway, which means that they will probably waste more actions than you can actually interact because he doesn't have Don't Mind Me and he doesn't have engagement range. Yeah. So the moment he gets engaged, he needs to do something about it.
Nah, that's fair. But they gave him the option to do that on a 6. That's quite nice. Yeah, we got 2 bonus actions.
And not the only one, though.
Yeah, we got 2 bonus actions, both of which we would wish on every other guild model in the game. Like, he got both, which is kind of sad, because sabotage their plans on any other model would be super useful for guild. I'm not gonna lie.
You don't probably know it, but Quick has sabotaged their plans, except he doesn't have the mask built in.
Yeah, that's what... I mean, if you need the mask, then it's all... I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about 3rd edition, post... Madness of Malifaux stuff, so we would like our triggers to be inbuilt. Thank you. Otherwise,
the cover reporter has the similar value trigger, not trigger, bonus action. That's kind of okay.
Oh yeah, fair.
That's why it is so good.
Yeah, that's why it's one of the versatile models nowadays, I guess.
Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, that's the network. Camera bots, anything on those that we missed that you would like to point out?
Just very good summons, that's that.
I think the fact that they control the interacts within 2 inches, and the fact that which basically means that you can also try to deliver the message on Dashel, for example, especially on Dashel 2, and the fact that they can force your model to interact, which is also nice because you have a like you summon the bot, and then the bot next activation, because it's just slow, it's not mindless. Then it can give you like force someone to give you a vote.
Yeah.
Which is I think also good in bots.
Yeah, fair. I also think that just having them sit there and do flash photography twice on willpower. I mean, it's only 4 against willpower, but sometimes cards
You
like
have August, right?
Yeah.
So they synergize with an L as well.
Yeah, I think with Nelly I think Nelly absolutely shuts down Cloak and Dagger nowadays with that model and the camera bots. It's super brutal, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not the main guild player here, but that is, I got fond memories. Cool.
I'll certainly use it.
Oh yeah, sure. Do you guys?
I actually think like the smile you're on camera, the interact just on your own guys, is something that can change a lot, because you can like score protected territory unexpected, because you can jump like through the like whole board, right, to another camera bot and try it again, and another vote to reset or the ballots, or just score the ballots. I think that's gonna be big.
Okay.
It's just in one package, both the scoring and denying possibilities. So it's very nice.
Fair. Do you guys think that you will see the Nightcrawler Network out of keyword in Guild?
For sure.
Okay. Because right now we are like seeing Louisa a lot for
I think
stuff.
it is even possible that you'll see both of them sometimes.
Yeah, it's what I fear that it's gonna be the new schemy all stars like Network and Louisa.
You like take Lucius too, and he does something, maybe killing some small stuff, and those models just score everything.
Oh yeah, I mean the option.
And with the 3 scheme markers from the Lucius, it's like a breeze.
Yeah, I think the option hitherto has not existed to out scheme your opponent with a guild crew, so I think that's pretty nice. Very good. Would you guys take camera bots as hires at the start of the game, or do you think there are basically only summons?
Probably not.
Okay.
Why do you need a 2 soulstone pass token for an opponent?
I don't know. Maybe if you got a map that's hard to get to in some places, and they got
one
got from the shadows
for the
corner ballots that's hard to get to. You plonk one down by the ballots and just vote on from turn 2 with your Nightcrawler Network, something like that.
For the tables with some terrain that makes it very hard to reach the places. Yeah, sure.
Okay, fair.
I think I would consider taking. It depends on the board and the deployment and the opponent, I think, because I think like putting the bot on the left side, for example, and the Nightcrawler on the right side, when he can summon another bot, and then you can turn 2, you will vote on the left or the right, and your opponent basically have to work really, really hard to actually deny you. I think that's probably good. I don't think I would ever hire 3. I think I would sometimes hire 1. I think I would very rarely hire 2.
Okay.
Agreed.
Fair. Do you guys think that they're a viable summon for Dashel 1? Because you can summon all 3 at once.
I think that's an option, because that's very cheap.
Yeah, I mean, what does it need? It needs... it's TN6.
A 10.
It needs a 10.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean...
That's actually an option, because that's 3 interacts right there.
That could be... Yeah, it could be really hard also to get around those.
I think what it also does, it's a 2 stone summon, which means if you have a 6 of rams, you can deny a scheme. Because you can just summon it on an enemy scheme marker to remove it.
Yeah, all 3 of those.
Oh.
Well, you remove 1, so you have to work harder for the rest. But
okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's also some options. I think
actually you don't even need to summon a model for for a deny, because you just need any card. You discard the scheme marker as a cost.
I don't think so.
Summon anything.
I think it's as a part of the action for dash.
No, it's a cost. It's a cost.
Okay. Should we have a look at this and come back? Okay, as it turns out, one up for Trikk because it's part of the action, so we gotta succeed to actually remove that marker. But anyhow, that is Nightcrawler Network and the camera bots, which are both pretty good, and that's what Guild actually needed. And looking at Director Rodriguez right now, Legislat, tell us our thoughts about this new beauty.
He's very decent, surprisingly so.
Oh, praise.
He doesn't have a lot of weaknesses. Actually, he's very tanky. He's armor 1, hard to kill, defense 6. That's in itself in Guild a rarity to have all those 3 without an upgrade. And he has a hovering flame. It's very nice action. So he's actually very mobile. And not a very hard TN as well, so only 6. So it's comparable to Leap. And it actually has some uses and utility. And I don't know, he's very useful even if he's engaged, because he has Breath of Fire with decent stats and decent triggers, I guess. And with Rising Flames, he can be very, very dangerous. So I guess he'll be very useful in at least Sonya 2. Maybe even in Sonya 1, but I don't really know what he will accomplish there.
Okay, you don't know who's playing Sonya 1.
Yeah, it's like Sonya 1 is out of touch with reality, I guess. And he can be useful in Lady Justice as well, because he can keep up. He hits hard. He doesn't require a lot of resources. He can provide positives for himself. That's very useful. So yeah, generally pretty good model.
Yeah,
he can even drop some coffins if you need so.
Yeah, so you're a fan. You think that that's the kind of model you want if you want to see a 10 soulstone model.
I don't think I am a huge fan, but I see that it is useful and it is not bad.
It looks like looks like
I
a
welcome
solid
the change.
So Trikk, what's your thought on this?
I'll put it this way. This model is probably the first Witch Hunter that I will auto-take in Sonya 2. And I think if you ask who plays Sonya 1, I checked like the Longshank stats like a week ago and there was 0 Sonya 1 games, so apparently no one plays Sonya 1.
I wonder why that is. Probably because she's sad when you engage her, but...
Yes. I think the fact that he can get up to 7 burning before he takes damage, because he has armor and fireproof. I think the fact that even against campers and butterfly jumps, he can do 2 actions, as in 2 attacks, because you can Flaming Fist and then you can go with Breath of Fire, which I think like ranged attacks that deal damage and are not a gun are also kind of rare in Guild. I think we mostly have guns. I think Hovering Flame means he can get out of engagement, and I think the fact that he can put a pyre under Sonya 2 before her activation to give her positives, like for everything, is also a huge swing. The Rising Flame trigger is very, very good. Min 3, I don't think it's like a model that's like breaking the game, but I think it's a very solid model that will probably be taken.
Yeah, you don't mind spending a stall for Rising Flames because it's that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if it does like 3 damage and gives 3 burning, that is 6 net damage. It's pretty awesome, actually. Do you guys think that this model is an auto take in both keywords or only for Sonya 2?
Well,
I think I will take him in Lady Justice 1 very, very often.
Mm-hmm.
For Lady Justice 2, I think she's getting the least out of him.
Okay, why is that?
Because I think like Lady Justice 1 Lady Justice 2 kinda wants to kidnap something, and she like the models don't have to be that mobile because she wants to like control the middle of the board and like kidnap models and deliver them to the beaters. And I think like he's not that different from Judge, where he's not like attacked and not going on the flanks.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think he's solid.
Fair.
He is, yeah.
My thought was that with Lady Justice 2, his ability to just plonk down a coffin marker and then beat something up really hard is probably good because it puts a lot of pressure on the opponent to remove that coffin marker to heal that model. You know, you can dictate a bit the pace of how things are activated that way. That was basically the only upside to having him in Lady Justice 2, in my opinion. Okay, cool.
Actually, the coffin can be useful in any cruise, actually.
Okay.
Just blocking a hallway.
Oh, yeah.
It's very nice.
Or like the marker, like you can block
Or the marker, yeah.
Yeah. Fire. Hardcore. So you guys take this out of keyword or rather not?
Yeah. I certainly will, because I think this guy will be amazing in Nelly. Because her totem gives him burning and pushes him
Oh, yeah. Fair.
very far.
You can do it twice, right? The
Yep.
out of the presses. So he goes up
Yeah.
like 8 inches, gets burning 4 and goes to town.
Yep, and Nelly needs a solid beater, because she doesn't have a solid beater in keyword.
She has Fiona, right?
She's not solid.
I actually, let's not go into this, but I think Fiona is a bit underrated for what she does.
I think she's okay-ish. I can see why this model is better though, because
Yeah, she's a lot less mobile.
yeah,
A lot.
Mobility.
And she has min too.
mobility.
Unless gritted. But yes. But she's also two stones cheaper, which is also, I think,
That is fair.
which is, yeah, it's also fair. I think.
I mean, I got a soft spot for Fiona, thus I bring her into the discussion. But I digress. So let's not get hang up on this. So this is a solid standard beater that fits the current meta. So the next model in both of those keywords is the Ashbringer, a 5 soulstone cost model. So give us your salt, I'd say, guys. What do you think of this guy?
It's a power creep 5 soulstone model that I think honestly sucks, but he can heal. That's that.
Wait, he's 5 soulstones and can heal, hooray!
I think, like, for both of those keywords, I think he's very dependent of if you bring Rodriguez, because I think fueling between 4 and 6 burning to Rodriguez is pretty good. And then you can do the incidental heals or like the incidental punches. I think like what I think what's missing here is I think if they would have a second built-in trigger on Flaming Fury, I think then they or something to get them not one shot, like hard to wound. I think they would be very, very good. Mm-hmm. Overall, I like that they can heal anything, which is good when you have like 33, which is nothing, or you have Pale Rider, which is undead. Because you can heal 3 quite easily, unless you usually don't Black Joker, right? Because it doesn't require a suit, and a 5 is pretty low on the healing TNs.
Yeah, fair. And it does 3 flat healing, which is also pretty great.
Yeah. And it's 6 inches, so you can do a heal for 3 from 11 inches, which is kind of nice.
It synergizes.
His front is alright.
Yeah.
His front is alright, but his back is like 3 very, very, at best, mediocre actions and a nice bonus.
And a nice bonus. Yeah, I mean, the false accusation, as I pointed out earlier, was this is like an attachment to the card. This looks like, hey, we made a witch hunter, and it has to go into Marshall, so we give him something that goes with the undead thing. This is, I think, completely unnecessary, actually, because
I think it's one of the worst.
Yeah, I think
bonus
this is
actions
one of the
in
worst
the game.
bonus actions, and even in Marshall, you would like to go for Embrace the Flame. I got this idea that he's probably quite good at keeping the Pale Rider alive, because Pale can do his bonus, give everyone burning, and then this guy actually heals him by 3. That can be super annoying.
I think he has his places in Sonya 2.
Okay.
No place in Sonya 1, but in Sonya 2,
I mean,
why not?
As we talked about, nobody's playing Sonya 1 right now. That's seems to be a non-existent master in the competitive scene.
I will be the devil's advocate, and I say that the false accusations at least has the built-in ember.
Oh yeah, fair.
So at least you're doing
Fantastic.
like if you like don't have like the only one to heal, you can at least try to give someone one burning.
I think you
If
convinced
you want
Legislat
a
to
built-in
do it every
ember,
turn.
you just take a guild mage.
Fair.
Guildmate doesn't have a built-in ember, I think. It's just
Yeah, but his bonus is a lot better.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I'm thinking like I'm not saying this is like the better bonus action, of course. I'm just saying like if you don't have someone to heal, you might as well try to give someone burning.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you have, I mean, that is one of those actions where I would fear to like waste my red joker on if I still have it in a deck. So I would probably not, probably not use it right now in my current state
Agreed.
of understanding of this game. Okay, so this looks good for Sonya, and I think it's a good pamper the Director Rodriguez model, because he can go to town, this thing can heal him, you got a solid front line and can do other stuff with your models. Unlike a lot of other stuff in the Sonya keyword that just keels over when you look at it too hard. Yeah, cool. I think, what do you guys think about those two models design-wise? Because they look pretty generic to me. I mean, I don't know what the background story of this will be. But
I'll tell it this way. I think if you didn't know anything about those models, and I would give you what they have as abilities and actions, and I would tell you to guess which keywords they are, you would say that they are wildfire.
yeah,
Yep. For sure.
that for sure. I was talking more about the optics, about the artworks on the card. I mean, we don't know what the sculpts will look like, but Director Rodriguez just, looks like
Old dude with fire.
looks like the biker next door who's riding his Harley, playing with fire. I mean, his sculpt will probably involve a lot of fancy flames that you have to paint well to actually make it look good. And
He's probably quelching a dumpster fire.
yeah. And Ashbringer, our emo guy. I don't know how the second one looks, but yeah. I'm no fan of the design. I think I will have fun playing Rodriguez and Marshall because I don't own Sonya, that's for sure. But the Ashbringer, I'm not a fan design-wise, to be honest. But yeah, we want to rework Sonya anyways. Okay, I think we are fresh enough to just straight jump into our new versatile models in Guild that will save the faction. The first one up is the big one, the Propagandist, a 10 soulstone cost enforcer living construct versatile model. So Trikk, you got any opinions on that guy?
I am very torn because I think I haven't played it yet, but for me it looks like a bunch of very good abilities that form a model that is very incoherent. You have some card draw, you have some shielded, you have some focus, you have some ranged attack, you have some melee attacks, you have armor, 10 wounds, but overall I think that I might be undervaluing it, but I feel it's very swingy, maybe in a way that if it's very dependent on suits, and I'm kind of worried that you might have situations where you'll get the wrong suits in the wrong game, and it's gonna be kind of wasted potential.
Fair. Legislat, what do you think?
Well, I think this is actually not a bad model. Because you already know that I don't really like narrow-minded synergies like with the certain models.
Okay.
And in this particular case, this model synergizes well with almost all of the faction. So that's very, very nice. He has one of the best bonus actions in the game.
Yeah, okay.
With two very nice triggers, right? He has actually a very good front card because he has camaraderie, and that's very nice.
Yeah,
he
that's
has
the card draw we need.
Actually, this Hammerlin thing to discard a card and get rid of the condition, and that synergizes very well with the guild mages. And you are probably bringing a guild mage if you do a thing with Propagandist as well.
Fair.
So Rage Machine is overall actually very nice because this model is not very squishy. So you can actually afford paying health. So why not? If you want, you actually can dish some damage yourself, because you don't have a very good melee attack action, right? But you can use it, and it has draw out secrets as well. And you can actually use it even on your own models, right? Just to fish for a tome to drop a marker to score something. That's a thing. And then you have a utility with this ranged attack, and it's actually very good ranged attack because it has blasts and a moderate of 4. And with a decent triggers to boot, you actually can copy markers to help you score as well. So it's not only a beater, a support, you can actually do things with that.
Yes.
And a whole bunch of different things. And that's actually what I like about this model, because even Trample is very useful, because with the abundance of 50mm base asses in guild, it is actually valuable.
Fair. So you got me nearly buying this model now. In my head, I don't really know how this all fits together yet. So what would be your example for a crew that actually makes good use of the Propagandist card?
Hoffman. Hoffman, of course, Hoffman.
Okay. How so?
And actually both versions of that, because he draws a card, and that's very valuable.
Hey,
his Rage Machine
increase,
is very, very valuable for a Peacekeeper or a Howard. And his Impassioned Defense synergizes 100% with all the armor around. And his Vox amplifiers can actually drop scrap or even pylons. So his draw out secrets synergize super well with all your armor, so you can hit your own models for like 1 damage in the marker to score things. And he has Trample to get around, and you can actually get him fast and to focus for some ranged threat with the blasts. Why not? So
yeah,
I'd take him for sure in Hoffman.
Okay, that's a Hoffman take. Trikk, you got any other idea where to use that guy?
I kind of feel that you want to take him for a specific thing. I think the fake news trigger, which is basically recycle half your hand because you discard up to 3 cards and draw the same amount of cards. I think it can be good in some like Dashel. Because you can cycle 3 cards, which basically means your chances of getting an Executioner are higher. You also have you can give focus to the minions, so the mounted guards, the executioners, and stuff like that. What I don't like about it, I think Legislat kind of sold me on Hoffman, but I think it's a very GG3 model in a GG4 world.
Okay.
And I think that's my take, because it's move 5. It has 2 actions, no extra movement. Hoist the colors is extreme. I think it's kind of limited because it has to be a friendly marker. It has to be in play. It's enemy only. It's once per turn. It's not built in, and it's in base contact with you.
And it needs a ram in guild.
Yeah. I'm not telling that it's amazing trigger. It's just useful.
Camaraderie is good, but you need a living model, and in Hoffman that can sometimes be tricky, especially later in the turn. Bombastic speech. I think you kinda don't want to play minions in Hoffman usually.
Do you want to play minions in guild in general? Is there any keyword you want to play all the minions?
I don't think so. I think maybe Dashel 2, but I think Dashel 2 can get a better use.
I think Tool as well.
Can you afford a Propagandist in Dashel 2? Because I for my list, let's put it like this. From my list building experience in guild, you're very hard put to get the stuff and you want anyway. and doing the 10 soulstone guy just to give your 2 executioners and the 1 mounted guard focus seems like not something I can afford.
He also can't keep up.
Fair. I mean, he has the same issue as probably a guild mage if you don't take a walk action every turn. I think for him,
that's why I think his place is more like in Hoffman, because there is a totem that can push him around and maybe fast, and in Nelly that totem can push him around, and you can exchange the burning for focus with the guild mage, and you'll take guild mage with him.
Yeah, so I think it's more or less a packet with the guild mage, and it has limited uses in those keywords instead of being the super model, because it's the new 10.
You can still do some gimmicks with heavy minion lists in Tool, I think, because you have Rocketeers, you have Hexbows.
Yep.
I think Hexbows are probably the prime minions I would look for the focus to actually use. I think Sonya. I think basically a lot of the models are like kind of a nudge for Sonya too, because this guy can copy a pyre. This guy can give Hexbows a focus. This guy can cycle cards.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of like living models to draw the card, and Sonya kind of needs resources. So I think Hexbows are probably, and you can have also Spell Eaters, which also synergize well with focus.
Mm-hmm.
And handlers also decently synergize with focus because they have different triggers, which is also not that bad. So I think Sonya might be something I would look into if you really, 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 really want to. I just think that like finding the spot for 10 stones might be a problem for this model.
Yeah, I'm more of a camp for Nelly, Hoffman, and Atul. And
okay, fair.
That's probably.
Well, I mean, that is at
I'll
least half of the faction where you 2 guys see some use for this model, which is basically I had a very foggy impression before we talked about this. My main selling point was actually the fake news trigger, because I think exchanging half of your hand and guild is like golden, and I was thinking, I mean, it's pretty sad. That is actually something that Bass would need, but he can not for love or money like take another 10 soulstone model in his crew only for that.
You need to think about that. You'll have to sacrifice one of those cards. So you'll have to have a very bad hand to get this trigger to work beautifully for you.
Oh yeah, but I know my luck. I mostly have in 5 turns I get 2 really bad hands where this is really good.
When you need it a lot, you'll just get a bad hand without masks.
Without the mask, yeah, fair. Fair. I mean, at least Nelly.
Or this mask will be a 13.
Yeah, at least Nelly has it inbuilt.
Yeah, I think if the Propagandist would be armor 1 and a henchman, I would be a lot more inclined to like it.
Yeah, fair. It seems a bit.
Actually, I like sudden aggression a lot more, because you can actually draw a card with this if you use it on a lawyer or a changeling, or even an agent.
Okay, fair. Then this model would actually draw 2 cards per turn, which is above standard for guild. But then you are already paying 10 soulstones. I mean, we gotta try it out, right? I think this is the place in the discussion where I say like, okay, we get up some maps on Vassal and we try this out like 3 or 4 times, and then we talk further about it.
Sudden aggression synergize extremely well with the white eyes.
Yeah, that is fair. But that would mean you play white eyes.
Yeah, why shouldn't you? It's a nice model.
Okay, fair. I think it has fringe uses. I haven't seen it do super well yet, and it's already 1 year on the market, so to speak.
Yeah, maybe it's just not for the current gaming grounds. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see how the Propagandist does in GG4. I think we will see sooner or later.
I think this model is the biggest question mark for me.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a question mark. It can be really good, right? Theoretically.
Yeah.
I mean, it is also min. It
I
can
think
be min 3.
it can be good, just good, not extremely good.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
good.
It's min 3, but it's stat 5, which is I don't know why they didn't put stat 6. Like
Because they like to downtune models this way. I got the feeling that they give it
It's
one.
not even, I mean, 3.
No, it's a min 3 if you. Oh,
Yeah.
you need the ski marker.
It's basically the same attack as Nelly's totem.
Nelly's totem, I know. Which I think is a very good attack for a totem, but not for a 10 soulstone enforcer.
yeah.
I mean, I was thinking was I saw that it was stat 5 against defense, and I thought this: why does the emissary, the hodgepodge emissary outcast, have 6 against defense, and that guy has like 5 against defense? That doesn't seem to be right, to be honest. I mean, because all things together, I think the hodgepodge is still much better than this model, and I think there's no reason not to give him stat 6 on everything. He costs 10 soulstones. That's crappy expensive for the fact that you probably have to take like 2 to 3 walk actions with him per game. But
yeah,
anyhow.
and I think the hodgepodge is a lot more. I think Propagandist for me is like downgraded Hana.
No, it's not even close though. Han is a lot better.
Yeah, I think so.
No, that's why I said it's downgraded. Like because
it's very much
you have
downgraded.
camaraderie, she has Arcane Reservoir. You have the Vox Amplifier, she has Ancient Wards.
Yeah.
You hit for 2, 3, 4 with stat 5. She hits.
She hits for 4, 6, 8, or 2, 4, 6 with blast inbuilt. Yeah, that is, and that's the point where we are like question mark. Why is that model not better? But okay.
All right, discussion is closed on this one.
It's a guild model after all, guys. What did you expect? Okay, so, and we are back for Commander Burra of the Vanguard keyword, which makes it look like there actually will be a starter box for guild after 4 years of 3rd edition. So, Commander Burra, what's this model for? What's on the card? Trikk, take it away for us.
There's a lot of stuff on the card, where it's basically the resupply, so you can get a 5 or less from the discard pile. She can lower her shield debt to make a model ignore shielded and incorporeal with a ranged attack. She gives up some shield debt to nearby models. She has Remember the Mission, which is the like 4-inch interact, even if engaged. She has a AoE blast as an AoE pulse on the bonus, which can do 3 damage. And she has a 10-inch attack versus movement that also ignores shielded and incorporeal and has the built-in trigger to move a minion. Overall, I think this is an interesting model that has a bit of the same issue that the Propagandist has for me, which is it's kind of unfocused. Or like it's not it doesn't have any more mobility, so it's movement 5. It has some like tankability with the keyword mechanic, which is basically you can use multiple shieldeds per damage source. It gives up some shield debt. You can like try to do interacts with your models and Lucius to get the cards. You can push someone like you can push a model with a minion for Sonya to have a swing, but overall she doesn't give up in your face, which is
the great selling point, right? It's not 8 soulstone henchmen. Yeah, that all sounds really good. What do I do with that model, Legislat? Where do I hire this? Why would I take it?
I can't imagine a solid scenario that you consider it seriously. It's I don't know. It's a placeholder model for 7 soulstones because her bonus action is unimpressive at best. Her Remember the Mission, while being pretty decent, is only 4-inch.
Yep.
So her attacks are very crappy.
Okay.
So they don't have a selling point. So the main selling point is like resupply. It's not really needed. It's like a bad thing, right? So shielded bullets. Guild doesn't have a problem hitting incorporeal models or shielded models.
Yeah,
So
fair.
why do you need to spend your resources on that as well? So probably the main thing you can consider about her hiring her for protecting your squishy stuff, I guess, because she hands shielded around her for free at the start phase. But that's not really that great for 7 soul stones.
I mean, it's all friendly Vanguard models only, so it's
and up to other friendly models.
Yeah, that's
as well.
at the start of her activation, so that would
mean
you need to activate her first, which is probably not what you're gonna do in a serious brawl scenario, because she's gonna give out 2 shielded, and then that's it. She's not gonna do much else.
Maybe you can kind of have it like a package with Bracer, but that's pretty expensive. That's 13 stones.
I mean, yeah, it
doesn't do much.
Probably part of the starter box. So you guys say, yeah, looks nice, but we don't have a taste for it right now.
I have a question to Legislat. Bracer and Bura or Avel and Domingo? That's the same package? Which one did you
Avel and Domingo for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, because they can kind of impact the board because they have music in the air, and that's unresisted. And that's a lot more impact than those.
Yeah, and there is the hope that your opponent like misdeploys and you can blow him up with all the blasts.
Yep.
I think I'll go with
Bura is greed.
Okay, you go with
Bura is greed.
Why would you go with Bura and Bracer instead of the 2 musicians?
I think they have they are less they require less resources. They have more synergy. They can, for me, score points more easily, and they 1 stone cheaper.
Oh yeah, the one source.
Yeah, that's the selling point, of course. But if you tell me to just take 1 model, then Bracer.
Yeah, okay. Let's jump to the Bracer then, because you seem to be more excited about that model. So what's the Bracer give us?
So the Bracer has the same ability that the starters have. All the starter enforcers have. So basically, at the start of the activation, if she is within 6 inches of a Master of Henchmen, she can draw a card. And the guild ability is that if it's Commander Bura, they both can remove any number of conditions on them. I don't know if that's impactful. I think it's probably matchup dependent, but not being able to slow them or stagger them kind of might be cool. She has Herald, which means that she can move up to 6 inches. She has On the Move, so basically you can't tie her up in engagement unless you're like a Razor Spine Rattler. She has Arcane Shield 1. She has Shield Slam, so that's like a 1 damage and push 2 inches. But she has built-in collision, so it's 1+1 often. She has Heroic Intervention, which is good for getting other models out of engagement. And she can give herself another shielded, and she's also defense 6 for 6 stones.
Okay, so you think she might be worthwhile 6 soul stones on paper?
I think that you can slot her in without redoing your whole crew. I think if she stays near your stuff, she at least gives you a card. You can't tie her up, so she can actually interact from 8 inches away because she has movement 5 and On the Move. And I think that's rare in Guild. The model, especially this cheap, can interact from 8 inches away.
Yeah, without flipping anything.
Yes, without flipping anything. She's defense 6, so she might actually take a few hits to take down.
Yep. Arcane Shield 1.
Arcane Shield 1 base, and if she flips a 5, she can get another one on her bonus. And she doesn't have another bonus, so it's not like you have to pick.
Fair.
So she's also a great node for all the consolidate powers in the faction, right?
2 of those?
I think we have.
We have more?
We have actually 3. It's Handler, Sergeant, and the Dispatcher.
Amazing.
But creep-alongs also work, right?
Oh yeah, creep-alongs also work. I mean, the shield generator has this nice RAM trigger built in, but that is only for the keyword, so that only works for the Vanguard keyword. If that would be friendly model, I think that would also be a selling point.
Yeah, that would be pretty
because
good.
That would increase mobility for Guild, and I think mobility is why Guild is not getting points this GG. So that could be a helpful thing. I think the Collier pistol is, it is what it is. Like, it's the standard 5 against defense crappy gun that everyone has.
But the trigger is also after resolving, so...
Oh yeah, fair, so you can shoot to miss.
And give shielded.
Yeah.
But it's all enemy only, so you have to shoot an enemy. But if you miss, you can always cheat a tome to at least get shielded.
Yeah, fair. So,
is it worth it for just one shield to cheat it all?
Yeah, I mean, you get a guild mage, then it's certainly you want to discard that card to give a shielded and heal too. So
I think it's like dependent on the situation, right? I think there are situations where you won't care about the 1, 2, 3 of tomes. There are situations where you might care. You might also flip it. You might also flip it naturally, right?
Fair. You might.
Actually, you can charge your own guys for a damage and a push, and then maybe even a quick shot.
Oh yeah, sure. That seems sneaky. I think that pushing models with the action is though still the best thing you can do. Maybe your own or enemy models.
So just imagine you just charge your own model, push it in an engagement. And then heroic intervention to push it another 5 inches away.
Yeah, I mean, that's not something you can do quite often in Guild, at least not with a 6 Soulstone model, and basically with low TN.
The issue is there's, at least for the early turns, there is some counter synergy, because you have Herald, so usually you're up front, so you have to charge back to push them. So like in early turns, I think it's you have to either have a secondary push. So, for example, I don't know, ride with me from the Pale Rider that goes forward and then you start pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Or because I don't think it's worth it to have the Herald and then go back.
Okay, fair.
It's like, in my head, this is a model for flanking, right? And then it is not good in killing small stuff. And then half of her card is about being around other models. So it's like,
yeah, I mean we're trying to sell it right now. That's my feeling. I mean, we should probably try it. I'm personally not very excited about this model, and to be honest, I don't know. I'm usually a completionist, but I don't know if I will get that starter box, to be fair. Because
I don't think so.
Because design wise, like from the looks of the models, that's nothing we haven't seen yet, and I'm a bit bored of like painting red.
Some guys in red.
Yeah, some guys in red. They have guns. One of those has like an energy field coming out of her hand, and we got ram skulls. I think I'm also done with ram skulls. It's a bit like you painted your 100 Space Marine and you're like, okay, fair. That's Space Marines for me. Let's talk about the last model in the starter box to wrap this up. It's the Battering Ram. It costs 6 Soulstones and is a Minion 2 living versatile model. Front of card, we got defense 6, but willpower 4, movement 5. And from there on, can you guys explain to me what these abilities are for on the front of card, like breaching charge and heavy impact? You can't.
God, please no.
So basically, they can do the slam after the charge, and they ignore terrain while charging and models. But they can't charge through engagement, as in from engagement, which is basically, I think, the biggest selling point of all the diving charges.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mini diving charge, but without the best part. And they can take the slam action after they do the charge action, which I think...
And that's what we have been missing in Guild, right? taking slam action after charges. That's what we wanted. Okay, fair. So no selling point there. Building momentum. So if it gets pushed or moved by another friendly model, it gains 1 shielded. It's
not another, so if they charge, they also get 1 shielded.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like just did stacking up shields on themselves, so they're pretty tanky if you attack them on defense.
No, so they can also use up all their shielded. Heavy impact seems weird because it's a target number 11 defense tool for 1 damage.
And you have to end a push in base contact with a model or impassable terrain.
Yeah.
Which is like
you charge in base contact.
It's a lot of hoops to have a TN11 for 1 damage.
Yeah.
It's like, it will be great if I take it against Hamelin.
Yeah, that is
Spoiler
fair.
alert, no.
I think this model actually lives at most 2 activations against Hamelin, and then it becomes a bunch of rats and explodes into goo. But okay. What's with the backup card? We got the standard sword action. At least it has bowled over, and we got the throw knife with some interesting triggers or not. Any of these strike you as super useful?
Actually, all those triggers are nice, but
yeah,
the attacks themselves are stat 5.
Yeah, fair.
Without decent damage tracks. And throw knife is very nice, but with a stat 5, it's unreliable at best.
Yeah. I mean, it's a high damage for 4, which is probably okay for a 6 soulstone. Trick, you wanted to say something for these actions?
I think like the actions are pretty generic. I think the throw knife has very good triggers because it's either +1 damage or puncture, but it's 8-inch range, and they don't have a way of moving in their activation easily by themselves, which means that someone has to be within 8 inches of them. They don't ignore concealment, they don't ignore friendly fire, they don't ignore cover. So I think and it's stat 5, which I feel is a hard selling point. The sword, defensive reflexes, I think basically with the amount of shields that they should have, I don't think defensive reflexes will save you. Like, I think that 1 extra shield is what you need to survive. I think either you have like 6 shielded, or you will be dead.
Yeah, okay.
We actually have a very similar model already in faction. It's a Death Marshal, and it's cost 5 model.
Oh yeah.
With better attacks.
Yeah, I think
even better bonus action.
Oh yeah, Death Marshal is actually not the worst model in Guild, to be honest. It's
just that. And that's 12-inch gun with a stat 5, but 235 damage track and possible critical strike.
Yeah. Throw knife. I've played 2 models that have throw knife, where throw knife is actually good, but one of those has run and gun, and the other got an actually useful inbuilt trigger on a stat 7. So I'm not super thrilled about this. I'm also not happy about paying 6 soulstones for a 5 health model. I think if you do the starter box matchups, like you buy a starter box and your opponent friend buys a starter box, then these are probably really good when they have like shielded 3, because you can't take them down with the other starter box stuff easily. But in a real game of 50 soulstones under competitive conditions, I basically can't see it myself. So probably we're gonna be corrected by future events, but I would bet money on it that this will probably stay at home. So yeah, that's the last model of those. So what do you guys think of the starter box in general? Like, will it make a good entry point for players wanting to dive into Guild so they can learn about the faction? Or is it just like, here's a bunch of generic stuff, you go at that and buy the next models very soon?
I think that if we are looking at the models themselves, as in from a visual perspective, I think they give a pretty good Guild vibe, because they have red coats and ram heads, which is amazing. Like all Guild is about. I think I don't want to talk about power level. I think they have a lot of stuff on their cards.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of it is that necessary, especially for starters.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was my
like I don't
impression as
know.
well.
Yeah, I know there's starters that rely on shielded and incorporeal. I don't think they are. So maybe it's a good ability to have in a starter, maybe not. Overall, against the starters, I think they will do probably fine. Because I don't know if the starters are that disbalanced. But what's really weird is that there's basically one model that has min. They have min 2 on both the rams and the swords and Bura's sword, and 2 and 1 but with trigger. So I think they have a decent damage and decent defensive stats also for like a starter game.
Yeah, fair. I think that a lot of the stuff on Bura's card is probably a bit. I mean, if you're really picking up Malifaux and you never played any other stuff before, that card is very full of text that even after you, even after you understood it, doesn't do overly much for you. So for starters, I, like to have easier accessible models, whereas most of the starters look like they have quite complicated rules for more or less impactful things to do. Okay. Cool. So we wrapped it up. Now that we actually have taken a look at all the models, Guild is saved now, right? Because now we got new models. We win GG4 because we are now overpowered. That's correct, right?
No, we have Nightcrawler and we have maybe Clipper, maybe Rodriguez, and maybe
So what I remember from our little conversation, the ranking would be Nightcrawler Network, a lot of nothing, Rodriguez, a bit of nothing, and then Clipper. That's the hot models from this update to the Malifaux. And afterwards, there's stuff that neither of you are really excited about. I mean, there's
Nightcrawler and bots are probably the most exciting model for me.
Yeah.
Anything else is just okay. Thanks.
For me as well. I think the Clipper looks nice from a painting point of view. There's also not much that I haven't already done in this me owning like.
We're already told that that's basically a flying hunter. So
yeah. I mean, a flying hunter is still kind of nice. At least it's not a guy in a red coat with a revolver. I mean, I'm running out of ideas for painting guild. I'm only on my 4th keyword, but I'm already like trying to take other main colors because I'm getting bored. So yeah,
I think the witch hunters and marshals offer. There's still guys in suits. But I think you can skip the red, which is also good.
Oh.
I think Aval and Domingo, from a painting perspective, look also like something where you can go a bit wild.
Yeah, fair. That is Cavalier though, right? They had the blue suits, because they're belonging to the United Kingdom Army, something like that.
Yeah, but those two were. I don't think they were drafted in the King's Guard. I think it's King Empire.
Yeah, I think they're probably independent guys. That's fair. Yeah, fair. I mean, I'm already painting stuff not in red when I'm painting my card. So, but we digress. So, how's Guild looking after this now compared to the other factions? And what would you two have wished for instead of the models you got in this upgrade? Let's be fair about that. So, where is the pain sitting right now with your faction, and what are the upsides?
I think
I really want.
Okay, go.
Independent. Yeah, I really want independent models.
Okay.
That's first. So we got Rodriguez as an example, right? And we got Nightcrawler as an example. But I want more independent models, and I really want an alternative support options. And I don't mean healing options. We have those, right? I mean support. And I want this support to be like universal. So I don't want to be playing guild lawyers in every game. I want to play something else for change.
So you'd like more in-keyword options for viable support. That actually does stuff.
Because I don't think that Ashbringers bring support. They bring heal. And we have this.
I don't see Ashbringers out of keyword. I think that will not happen.
Yep.
Unless you do something funky, which I can't see right now. But me is more of a generalist player, like, take the easiest route. And this is an in-keyword model. That's good for the healing. That is fine, but that doesn't help the faction from its predicament. My impression, to just give my view of this, is I always thought that Guild had a problem with the schemia GGs, like this one is. But also I had the impression that last GG, when it was all about standing and fighting, they weren't first place either. And that seems to me a bit of a puzzler there. So we got Nightcrawler Network, Fiona, and we got the Rocketeers now.
Louisa.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Louisa. I'm sorry. I sometimes make those up for whatever reason. And these are newer models. They got patched in kind of style because Guild had none of these models. But
we had an undercover reporter that kind of fills the role.
Yeah,
and
fair.
I played a lot because it is good.
Yeah, fair. But this seems like to be the Scheme All-Star thing now. You have the Punchy All-Stars or you got the Schemy All-Stars. And basically, not a lot of the keywords seem to be working without doing the All-Star stuff still.
That's for sure.
I think I think there's a few reasons why it's happening. First of all, I think the guild models are very narrow usage. So, for example, if you look at Manos or First Mate, they are models that can do schemes, but they can also punch.
Mm-hmm.
And they can run away as well.
Yes, and they can run away or tank or First Mate is decently hard to get rid of. And for example, when you compare it to Louisa, who I think is if you want to play the scheme game, Louisa is probably better at scheming than First Mate. We can discuss if she's 1 stone cheaper and stuff like that. But if you need to kill a Slurid to stop the enemy scheming, that's not gonna happen with Louisa because she's 1/3/4. Yeah. And those two guys can actually kill something, so they are a lot more versatile in a way that you can use them. Yes. And I think that's one thing. And I also think that in all tabletop games that I played, mobility is crucial. The mobility usually wins you games. And you have factions that have a leaping model that can do 8 inches, and then you have factions that can do 2 walks for 5. And especially this GG, I understand that the factions need to be debalanced a bit, but I feel that you need to do the difference between consolidate power needing a 5 and a leap needing a 3 on a silhouette is, I think that's...
Yeah, that hurts.
That hurts.
That's another point, because we have Rocketeers now, right? And we were ecstatic to get one, but it's 7 soulstones, right? And it's 8 soulstones out of keyword. And we kind of need out of keyword stuff for scoring, and we kind of don't have an alternatives, because I'd kill for the model I don't know, Necrobank, for example, or a doll. The Neverbonds. It's a 3 soulstone model with stealth.
Yeah.
And even a dog, Neverbond dog, is very nice right now.
Yeah, why
and our dogs suck.
Yeah, I like them to set them aflame with the DCU and draw cards of the dispatcher. That's kind of memey and nice, and you got grilled dog. But yeah, the model in itself doesn't hold up to anything much. Yeah, so we would have needed more independent schemers, like more efficient, like mobility-based stuff.
It's not only that, because we kind of decide on our list, and it is either hit or miss. So you kind of prepare the things you counter your opponent with, right? Or you can try to be prepared for everything, and then you can't do anything as well as some models from the other faction can do. And then you're almost always playing a deny game because you can't be that aggressive yourself, either in scoring or in killing. And that's a perpetual dilemma. So I don't know.
Okay.
What to do about that.
To be fair, and to be a bit optimistic, I think the Ashes of Malifaux has, and I think Malifaux Madness have two things that I think are a step into the right direction. First of all, like if you have two decently fast models in your whole faction, and they are not in the keyword that you actually picked, you will pick them. Like, and I think, like Ressers have Manos, and he fills this kind of a similar role, and he's picked everywhere because he is like a great model that has that can work with any scheme pool.
Yeah.
But I think the Clipper to some extent and the network show that more and more keywords have like an option to try to play at least the deny game without like going through too many hoops, and that's one thing I think that's like a step into the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And the second step in the right direction is I think they realized that lead line code is a bit of a tax, and not like an upgrade. So it's very good to see models that do not need it like 100% to survive, where
Like
it actually becomes an upgrade.
Yeah, that is fair. I get the feeling that if you compare guild models to Manos, you hire Manos and he can fill like 3 roles at once, and then you have guild models and you need to hire at least 2 models to fill both of these roles that Manos can do. So you spend more stones on your functions, and you can't spice your lists as much as other factions do, and then you always end up with the same models, and that is a bit what seems to be frustrating people about staying in guild. I mean, you two guys have stayed faithful to the guild through the hard times, I would say. So you have probably the better angle on that. But yeah, what's the solution? I mean, we got steps in the right direction, but steps in the right direction are only steps in the right direction and not getting you to the point where you say, I feel super comfortable in saying that guild can do anything, play any scheme, any crew. So would you like some keyword reworks right now in guild? And if so, what keywords would you aim for?
I think the number one the number one is witch hunters. I know there's like 3 people in the world who like Samuel Hopkins and really like witch hunters.
Yeah.
But I think this is like I think the issue with guild keywords is that they are very homogeneous in a way. Like witch hunters are 7 stone, 5 move 5 models basically, and with defense 5. That's like if you take a random model, then it's this or less. Like and I think that's kind of the family is a bit the same, and I think they kind of also saw that this is an issue. Mm-hmm. Let's disregard Domingo and Arrow because I think they're like the exact same models. But if you look at keywords that are good, they either have a very specific role or have very, very various models. Like if you go through Leviticus, he has scavengers, which are like their keyword support / cheap minion model. You have the Necropunks, which are the fast schemers. You have Rusty Alice. Like regardless if she's like good or bad, that has the range That's the ranged min 3 gun.
Yeah.
So like you have a variety of models that are different, and in Guild it's kind of like you have the same model with just a bit different rules.
Yeah. So everyone else has like different functional roles distributed over the keyword that he can like pick from, and you basically add like 4 or 5 models that basically do the same but don't serve a functional role, which we would actually need to achieve something. That's what you're saying, more or less?
Yes. I think Hoffman is like a great example of a keyword that has like big beaters, that has like cheap watchers that fly, that has some support models of different flavors. And I think that regardless if they're like good or not, you like have you know what you're picking the model for.
Yeah, you don't feel sad about having to just keyword it.
My 2 cents too, because I think Hoffman's keyword is an example of a nice keyword. He has a very good keyword, I think, and he needs I don't know, a model or two to round it up.
Maybe
just as a card draw.
Yeah, to
maybe incidental.
Draw 2 cards.
Yeah, and that's draw 2 cards. Yeah. It can be a crappy model, but if you can draw 2 cards, it will be taken in keyword, right?
Fair.
And we have a keyword issue where we have a lot of keywords like Dashl's keyword, Perdita's keyword, Witch Hunters, even Ledge Justice, right? And they have the same theme, and they don't synergize well. And they kind of wanted to solve this problem by doing a lot of synergy in the title masters, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think this is the exact approach for the better of the game.
I think the idea was probably correct, but it seems to me that the original synergies or ideas written into the guild models from the start of this edition weren't up to scratch with the other factions, or which weren't up to... Yeah.
Perdita could use like this ability to draw crappy cards for apparel, right? And for her own bonus action to ditch the cards, but they don't have any. And like Witch Hunters could use some more interactions with burning, because only Sonya 1 used this burning to summon stuff, and nothing actually benefits from it. And this issue with guild that almost every old minion have no good bonus action except lawyers.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, that's one of the reasons why Hoffman's keyword actually is good, because the bonus action they all share is actually useless. Move 2 inches, or give someone else 2-inch move to like disengage.
It is very good.
Disengage. Yeah, and
and it's free.
Yeah, it's free. It's an awesome thing. You don't have to flip it. And I don't know. I don't think there is one guild keyword that has a universal great bonus action. They're all a bit like Rasputina, where it says like, yeah, you can eat corpse markers to heal, and everyone's like, yeah, fair. So we don't have a bonus action. That is probably one thing.
I think journalists are probably the closest.
Yeah.
They don't share a bonus action, but most of them have a decent bonus action.
Yeah.
But I think there's also an issue with guild, is that every model is very, very balanced around having lead line code, and it turns out you have 2 codes and your minions just get 1 shot. But I think that minions get 1 shot in a lot of keywords, so in the different factions. But I think a lot of the games you are just 4 stones short, and I think that's the biggest issue, which is crazy to me, because people say Dashel 2 with lead line code is like unkillable, but then you have the 4-wind golem with Slowstone Cache and butterfly jump, middle of the storm, and like nobody said that this golem will be an issue.
I played some Dashel 2 with lead line code recently, and I gotta say he's decently tanky, but he's basically also the only thing on the table that is decently tanky. If he falls, then it's basically GG from the tanky perspective. Because
Yeah, I mean, I think I think without would you take him without LLC?
I think you cannot afford to do so.
And that's kind of my issue.
Yeah, I know. So keyword rework would also include not having lead-line code and giving all the squishy stuff some kind of defensive tech, because that's where it's lacking, or better stats. I mean,
I'll repeat my thought from a long time ago. You need to split lead-line code in 2 different upgrades, one with laugh off and one with armor.
Yeah, okay, fair. And then give it some useful other stuff. I mean,
yep,
probably the take prisoner upgrade could be incorporated into that idea, so that could give laugh off and ignore hazardous.
I'd better ditch the expert marksman one, because I don't like it.
Okay,
it's
fair.
like for 1/3 of all the models. Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think sometimes it's super valuable, and at other times, I mean, not every
sometimes it's like 1 in 50.
Really? I mean, it makes you ignore cover and stuff, so...
But only on minions.
Oh yeah, that's the minion only. True, it makes you ignore friendly fire on enforcers and stuff like that. That's the...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I think you mostly take it for the armor piercing.
Yeah,
on like Nino and Sonya and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was always my
That's
take.
two models. And Hexbows. So
Hexbows.
Yeah, 3 models in the wall have action that
But then
can
again,
use it well.
I think 9 Soulstone Hexbows, you know,
yes.
defense 5, 7 health. I think not. I mean, I played against that once and I was like, why did you do that? That is 4 Soulstones for me. Easy pick up as a kill. So, nah.
I think if they would swap the abilities, so you ignore cover and concealment base and you ignore friendly fire for a minion, or give the armor piercing to minion only, I think it would actually... I think it'd probably be too good, but I think it would be more useful than now. Because I think you only take it for armor piercing, and you usually take it on the non-soulstone users, because the soulstone users have to have lead and code usually, and then you don't fit the tomes in the right like circumstances, and
you can take it on Melissa though. She can build in.
Yeah, on Melissa it's super good, I think. Because you can build in the suit.
Not only against armor.
Yeah, I mean...
That's a very niche upgrade. Very niche.
If it would make you ignore cover... I think Perdita 1 doesn't ignore cover right now, is that correct? From top of
you need Papa Loco.
Yeah, okay.
And that's a different activation, so that kind of sucks. That's not Mad Dog.
I mean, if you could give her ignore cover, that would probably be... we would be worth thinking about, I guess. So we redo Witch Hunter. Do we redo Family? Because I think that has been reworked. Oh yeah, that's something else I wanted to talk about. I mean, I don't want to jump on the Salt train, but it seems to me that both of the reworks we have seen in recent FAQs, which was Cavalier and Family, at least Perdita 2, were... I mean, they were nerfs and they were probably justified to a point. But I think instead of, use a chisel, not a hammer, they kind of over-nerfed both of those things a bit. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion on Perdita is that her initial design was very nearsighted. Because... wall keyword needs work, and they kind of wanted to solve it all with a single model as a title Perdita. Yeah. And that kind of failed, because that was too good. And now we have the same issue that her keyword sucks.
Yep.
And you have 10 soulstone models that is good and is even better in the title, and everything else is just basically glass cannons without the fire.
I think that Perdita is... I don't think she needs a rework. I think she just needs a buff on some of her models. because I think defense 5, no defensive tech, and wounds equal to cost was and is, and I doubt will be enough of an defensive ability to actually make a model hireable.
Yeah.
And I think that's her biggest issue. I think Perdita 2's card is actually solid. I think Perdita 1's card is lacking defensive tech, and she would also be solid. She would be probably not play keyword because she doesn't care about keyword, because keyword gives her nothing in Perdita 1. But I think if 2 or 3 models in the family got a defensive tech and a wound or something on this level, I think they would be good. I think Cavaliers got the right models hit, but I think the whole keyword is very dependent. Was very dependent on the King's Wall and on Watson.
Yeah.
Because they basically have defense 5. Some of them have armor, but they're not really tanky, and they don't do damage because they don't have a min 3 even in the whole keyword that a reliable min 3. And suddenly Watson, I think, is just overcosted for
it is kind of useless right now.
No.
He's too expensive for what he does.
Yes, and King's Wall, which was the big I'm defense 7, but I make models around me harder to hit. So they lost it. So basically, he's defense 7, but nobody really cares about him because you just put slow on his willpower 5 and don't care about him because he's not gonna kill anything because he's min 2.
You just ignore him, and he can't even get around by seeing himself that much.
Yes, and I think I agree. Both of those models were too good, especially combined. But I think that if, for example, King's Wall would give negatives to attack for Cavaliers after it activates, so basically it walks up, it sets up the shield, and then starts to protect other models, it would be give you a puzzle to solve. Do I activate him now? Do I activate him later? If I activate him now, that's where he's gonna stay, so the opponent knows what to do. I think that would be way more in the theme of the model without being oppressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Watson should just probably be 8 stones.
Yeah, 8 stones.
For
Seems
sure.
to be right. So yeah, that is something that I don't understand, because I mean I can't assume that everyone that's involved there doesn't know what this game is about, but that seems to be a bit overreacting to stuff.
And I wanted to mention about the keywords as well, because I think that returning to the point that we discussed before, that I think some keywords just need a model, a new model.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Nelly for sure, because Nelly needs a new minion for sure, and Perdita as well, because she don't have any good minions.
Yep. Fair.
And maybe even Lucius, because
I mean he got a new
the whole keyword is very one-sided.
I think
very.
Didn't he get a new minion that we just skipped because it's not a guild model? That is fair. Probably should have taken this into consideration.
Oh, right, that's Crook Skins.
The Crook Skins.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, they're kind of solid, but also nothing to write home about, right? So if
they're massive power creep models.
Oh yeah,
that's that, because they're very beefy.
Yeah, they're super beefy, but is that something that you need? Do you want beefy models? Like if we pull up the card, which I think we can do for purposes of this.
I kind of disagree with the power creep, because you have a lot of minions that are not power crept, and they have a very special place in the on the shelf. So a minion that can actually survive a focused one shot, as in a focused swing from a severe 6. I think I wouldn't call it. I don't know if technically it's power creep, but I think it's a power creep that makes you consider this model to actually pick up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Crook Skins are a model that you say like, "Wow, this is like insane for 6 stones." Are they good? I think they are good,
Okay.
but I don't think.
I think they are very situational anyway, because they.
Yes, exactly.
Stat-wise, they're very nice, and ability-wise as well, because stealth, hard to wound in the old ways is everything very good, and
then
actually
again,
7 health for 6 cost.
Yeah,
as well.
That's also good. That's the zombie like baseline. But I also think they have the zombie stats. They defense 5, willpower 4. So if your opponent gets to them and old ways doesn't count, if a min 3 beater gets to them, they are basically dead.
But maybe not in one activation.
Maybe not in one activation, yeah. But it's a maybe, and looking at the back of the card, so what bugs me is that they don't have following orders, which is what I want to have every one of my models, because other than the old ways, all my other models need cards for defense in Lucius keywords.
Yeah, they have unruly, and you can heal them with obeys. I don't know. Why do you need that?
Yeah, that is. So I spend a 9 mask on a lawyer to heal that model by 2 instead of taking an action with it. That hurts. That hurts me.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see.
I think the only usage for unruly is when an opponent decides to disengage, and you just say, "I will attack you.
Right.
I'll fail, and I'll shoot you."
That's pretty nice. Yeah. Well, they have a decent attack that it targets movement, so probably ignores triggers, but damage track is nothing to write home about as well. And
giving staggered is nice for setting up Lucius.
The damage track isn't bad, isn't like great, but remember that they can have a free suit from Lucius too for the attack.
Yeah.
So they can have a free crit, which isn't that bad. And I think they have basically their bonus, which can actually be the Craven imitations, which can be taken as a bonus. You can actually use the old ways on it, and you can, if you have the crow, then a beater will not kill you. If you have the ram, you have suddenly 8 wounds. If you have a tome which is built in, you can place like a ice pillar to block his path. And you have sneak away, so you have I think their survivability might be a bit, and you heal 1 from the action itself, right? So
because that's you negate the effect of the old ways, and actually sneak away is pretty nice for the model with 6 wounds.
Great. So the question is, what as a Lucius player in guild do you leave at home to take a Crook Skin? My idea was you leave at home how are the small ones?
Lucius.
You leave at home Lucius.
Yeah, play something else.
Yeah, okay, that's your take, because I got the feeling that Lucius is actually very playable this GG.
Yeah, the title one, of course. Maybe you take 1.
Yeah, maybe you take 1 instead of one of the small guys. How are they called again? I keep forgetting.
Changelings?
Changelings?
Yeah, changelings. You leave a changeling at home for a Crook Skin. Does that sound about right?
I have to say, I played a lot of Lucius too without the horses and just with Stewart. So, I don't think I'll have. I'll try them out, but I don't think I'll have issues with slotting them in, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, I played without the horses as well as Lucius too, and it's quite alright.
No,
I took his Northernborn henchman, and it was okay as well. And Cavalier was alright as well.
He doesn't have the major mobility issue that other keywords have, so the rider isn't not absolutely mandatory model. But for the Crook Skin, isn't White Eyes a 7 cost model? So isn't it
but Crook Skin can get around.
Oh yeah, fair.
And score and be barricading stuff with the ice pillars, right? Because this tactical action can be used as a bonus, and that's pretty good, I guess. Because you can actually do it 3 times in an activation.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's once per activation. You can't.
Ah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
But you can walk twice and do that.
Oh yeah, fair. I think they probably slot in at least the fourth best model that Guild will get, if only it's locked in the one keyword, but they're still more decent than other stuff we got. See, needs to be evaluated in games.
Yeah, I think that the fact that they also have like a 8-inch stat 6 stagger.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
Kinda can set up Lucius too, so you don't need the crow.
Yeah, that is actually good. And also, I mean, you probably want to do Craven Imitations as a normal action, then Startle, and then whatever you got left as an action. I think Sneak Away could be really great this GG. Yeah.
With old ways, yeah, because you can just jump to the marker itself, because there are a lot of blocking markers. Just to vote for stuff, you can jump to the marker and vote.
I never play maps where there's not enough blocking terrain, to be honest. Whether it is in Vassal or at home, there seem to be always enough blocking terrain to jump about. So yeah, fair. Cool. Crook Skins. Nearly forgot about that. Glad we got that one in.
They might they might also work with the Propagandist. If there's two of them, they have a decent attack, so they can use focus. Lucius has a lot of card draw, so you might get the 4 of Tomes to cycle cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have shielded, so the Propagandist can be pretty tanky.
Yeah.
You have a lot of living, so camaraderie works.
That's interesting.
You can actually heal those guys very good with the bonus from the Propagandist, like 2 shields and 2 heal on top.
Yeah.
From the sudden strike.
Yeah. True. Yeah, worth thinking about. So Crook Skins. Good job. Yeah, cool. Guys, I think at this point we shall end our musings and see how the new models do. Thank you very much for appearing here, and I hope you both will get back to this channel at some point to talk some more trash about some other faction or such like.
Sure. It was a blast.
Sure. Yeah, I'm very honored to have you here, guys. Couldn't do it without you, you know that. And for all you listeners at home, thank you for listening in. I hope you enjoyed our program today. Give us a like, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell button, give us feedback on the current format and what we could improve on. And I see you next time. Have a good one.